Saliboneni emakhaya lapha lingabe likhona liyamkelwa yimi ke Mqiniseli Sola kwenzakala into engakazi yenzakale ke namhlanje sisiphethe sikhona lapha ke ziyabuya ziyawa ama radio community radio stations ahlangene wonke ngobunengi bawo ahlangana ke yiko ke okwenzakala khona lapha ngizabe nguphethe mina honorable Pristo ngiyaziwa njalo ke awuvela khona le ke Radio Bukalanga. Welcome to the Radio Fair organized by National Association of Community Radio Broadcasters in partnership with FES Zimbabwe. I'm your host, Mqiniseli Sola. We are live at our community radio fair in Harare. Coming, we amplify the voices from the margins. Right here with me here, we have honor of hosting the EU ambassador to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Jobst Von Kirchmann. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you so much. Your Excellency, you have been in Zimbabwe for the past 2 years. What's your general impression about our country and what you will take back as your aha moment?
First of all, it's now 2 years I'm here, and I must say it's a really beautiful country. I started probably like many others, but just going to Big Falls and Matopo Hills, Great Zimbabwe, etc. But then I had a chance to go around to Binga, to obviously Kariba, Gonarazu, Savevele, Nyanga, etc., etc. So I've seen large parts of this country, and I must say you are blessed. Zimbabweans are blessed. It's a beautiful country. And apart from the beauty of nature and the fantastic climate, this country has fantastic people. And when you ask me about the aha moment, yes. It actually happened very early when I arrived. I was driving to Kariba, and I overtook with my car a lorry, and my tire exploded. And here I was on this roadside, the sun was setting with my family, and then I said, no problem, I changed my tire, I put the jack underneath, but it didn't work. I got the car a bit up, but I couldn't change the tire. Sun is setting. And here comes from a sideway a lorry with like 10 people with beer bottles. And I said to my wife, get in the car to my son, I handle that. And then they were coming, and I said, oh, what will that be? These people went down and helped me for an hour to get my car up, changing the tire. And when I wanted to give them money at the end, I said, no, it's a pleasure for us. That's Zimbabwe. That's the friendliness of Zimbabwean people. And if you ask me about aha moment, that happened very early, and I must say I started really loving the friendliness and niceness of people in Zimbabwe.
I'm really sorry about that. Yet there's a happy ending there. We are good people. Thank you so much, which means I'm also a good person. Your Excellency, the community radio station represented here today all serve local communities in remote areas like Binga, Plumtree, Chirezi, Chipinge, amongst others. Can you share the EU's vision for support and partnership with local communities in remote areas in Zimbabwe?
I think it's very important. Today we are here in Harare, but
yes.
Maybe one other day we should be somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think we attach a lot of importance that our programs are reaching out everywhere in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
It's not always possible, but many of our programs actually take place not in Harare or Bulawayo or Mutare, but they take place in very remote areas. And whether this is on our big programs like gender equality, yes. Women empowerment, and our joint fight, which we have together with the government against gender-based violence, for example, child marriages, and many issues which are community-driven, like agriculture, for example. I think we go out everywhere, and it is important to do it because the problems do not exist in Harare, they exist everywhere, and so we should also be there to support all the activities which are planned throughout the country.
Thank you so much. And what are some of the notable projects funded by EU and success stories of those projects in marginalized communities, I think, since 2022?
So obviously we have hundreds of those, but maybe to give some examples, Makoni West, we were working together with churches and communities to fight against child marriages. I think it's one example. We have been in Mutasa and also in Nyanga for water issues. Mutasa, we were drilling boreholes, brought water to 300 households. It's enormous. It's a small area, but it's enormous. In Nyanga, we helped to overcome water distribution issues. Mbire, another example, is known, has a lot of human-wildlife conflict. I think we managed to support communities to find a better way to deal with elephants as well, and to put people in the middle, which I think is very important. And then in Zimbabwe, for example, we were working with a local clinic to get better staffing, more nurses, which increased the local health supply.
I mean, community radio stations are community owned, and the community is at the center of the participation and development initiatives. How does EU foster localization and meaningful participation of targeted communities in the projects if it supports?
I think all our programs throughout the country are for the people of Zimbabwe. And how can they be good only if we have an input as well? What is going on, and what should we target? What should we do? So I think we rely heavily on input from communities to better adapt our programs. We have, for example, a youth sounding board, which is there to help us better understand what are the needs of youth. We bring in disabled people. Another example, I think, are the district development plans. The district development plans, we could play a role by bringing in communities and allow them to give an input in these plans to better adapt them to the population. So we consider this really important.
Thank you so much. We are facing a climate change. Locally, as Zimbabwe, we're in the middle of the drought, which has wreaked havoc in our communities. What do you think the government and local communities can do to accelerate and mitigate adaptation and resilience, building on that?
First of all, of course, we have all seen El Nino, the catastrophic drought this year, and it's still extremely dry, drier than other years, and I must say I hope the rain is coming already in October. Some insiders tell me it will come earlier, but it's not only a problem in Zimbabwe, it's a regional problem and it's a global problem. As EU, we are the biggest funder of fight against climate change and mitigation measures. And here in Zimbabwe, I think we have several resilience programs where we help livelihoods to better adapt. During El Nino, we have made available over $60 million to overcome the consequences of the drought, and I just want to give some examples. It's sometimes simple things like use other crops, more drought-resistant crops, and interesting, our research institutes have found out that the indigenous crops, which were here before, are the most drought-resistant, for example. There are other ways of keeping water. In the morning when it's cooler, there is a kind of some water on the fields to keep it with plastic, etc. There are many ways of helping communities to overcome the consequences of drought, but we really want to be there. But I said, of course, we hope that water is coming soon and the drought is coming to an end this year.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Another major task of the community radio is to promote arts and culture in various communities in the country. How has EU supported initiatives like contributing to the arts and the cultural development, innovation, and the creative industry generally in Zimbabwe?
I think we have launched a fantastic program. You refer to that, I think, Creative Action 2. And over $1 million, and we have almost 100 projects now throughout the country. That's a fantastic success. And what it shows as well is that culture and handicraft and artistic undertakings are not only taking place in the big cities, they are taking place everywhere. And I myself went in small villages. I was surprised to see what they can do. So this has created a lot of jobs, has allowed some of the participants to export to Europe their products, but also I could see personally the richness and variety of culture which exists in Zimbabwe. And to tell you also, community radios in that play an absolutely crucial role.
Yes.
Because many of the programs we are doing, they are actually their target population. Take creative action. If you as an artist, you are not aware that there is a program where with a simple email you could get funding for your project, you will never be able to do that. So who is disseminating this information? If we put it on our website, we would never reach out to local communities. But here, community radios can disseminate that. And that is valid for a lot of other projects and programs we are having. For example, we have helped farmers throughout the country to have preventive measures. Actually 70,000 farmers to have preventive measures against certain diseases. So they can go and they can get help, etc. But people must know about that. And recently we have started a campaign, EU with You, Mqiniseli EU with You, and here again I think what we hope is the community radios help us disseminate all the information which is valid for the population, what they can do, what they can benefit from.
Do you see any convergence in the work that EU does and the community broadcasting services mandate of community radio station? What role can community radio station play in supporting EU-funded local development projects? And what role can EU play in strengthening community radio as an arena for information sharing, dialogue, community participation, and inclusion?
First of all, we support community radios also financially, because we think it is an important community radios are an important actor. But then, as I was saying before, I think you have a multiple role, disseminating information, but also listening to communities.
Yes.
And that what I saw this morning as well is that you are actually in a position also to best understand in a specific area what the issues are. And I think this is extremely valuable information, not only for us, but for the government, for anybody who would like to do a project in a specific region. So I think you have a multiple role to play, and I can only congratulate local community radios for the job they are doing.
The FES plays a very, very pivotal role in supporting this initiative. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's a very good initiative. This morning we had a workshop. I'm coming here for a reason, because I think the work FES is doing is important. It's an important role to support local community radios, and I hope it will continue, and we will see even more local community radios.
I thank you for your time and for sharing your vision and insights in the EU work in Zimbabwe. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you to you, and the EU is with you. Silani Tinemi, EU with you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Right, I'm your host, Mqiniseli Sola, coming to you live from Harare, Sikhona lapha ke esigodlweni with His Excellency Jobst Von Kirchmann, khona lapha the EU ambassador to Zimbabwe. Thank you so much for tuning in live today. We really appreciate that.